There's one strategy that I've seen work really well with some people in getting their weight loss under control. And it's something that not everyone will agree with, but it's something that I think is extremely valuable for those who get a lot out of it. And it's, I want you to seek out your wins. I want you to work hard to seek out your wins. Now, what do I mean by that? So, during your weight loss journey, it's very easy to look at all the ways you fucked up. It's really easy to see the negatives. And look, I honestly think most people are brought up this way. We're brought up, our parents point out the negatives and forget to realize the positives. For many people, for most people probably. Our teachers really point out the negatives and are very sparse with their positive reinforcement. It's deemed normal to feel like we're helping people when we point out the things they're doing wrong and really glossing over the things they're doing right. Oh, they're doing that right, so we don't have to touch that. They're doing this wrong, so we really have to push these. You're doing this wrong, you need to change. You're doing this wrong, you need to change. Now, when you focus on what you're doing right, it creates this upward spiral of success. You realize that you're doing better than you thought, for one, and then when you realize you're doing well, you want to keep that, you want to see more of those little wins, and you start to notice more of those little wins, and then all of a sudden you're ignoring any negatives that you're doing to the point where they sort of just disappear, and you're doing most things right. But the good thing is that when you do something wrong, it doesn't fucking derail you. You don't feel like you've fucked up big time. It becomes this one little small negative in a sea of positives, and then you can keep going without it affecting your progress. So I want to put this into a bit of context, because right now it's sort of a little bit, what are you saying, Aaron? So one of my clients, and they probably know who they are if they watch this video, are very high-performing client in their career. They're very much a perfectionist. They really enjoy, like they really try hard and work hard to do well. But, and this is super common with people who are perfectionists, hold the bar really high for themselves. They're very good at seeing where they fucked up. They're very good. And they could have done 10 things right and one thing wrong. And they'll find that one thing they did wrong and they'll beat themselves with a stick over it. They'll be like, why did I do that? I fucked up big time. I should have done it differently. Now, what's the issue with this? So when you do view this negative thing that happens and ignore the positives, what are you thinking to yourself? I'm not doing anything right. I can't get anything right. What's the point? If I can't get anything right, why should I keep trying? And that puts you in an all or nothing mindset, which then makes you just give up. It makes you give up so easily when you've got these other 10 things that you're doing so well, even if they're small and there's this one thing that's pulling you down. Now, what we've done is we've sort of tried to really focus on looking for these wins, really focus on seeing these wins and really looking back and reflecting daily on the wins that they got that day. And lo and behold, what happens? They realize, yes, they may have done one or two things where they could have done a bit better, but they've got this fucking plethora, this sea of positives, of things that they've done well, things that they've done better than previously, and in some cases, things that they've done insanely well that they've never done before, that they didn't realize until reflecting and seeking this out. And this is so common with so many people, especially high performers. They struggle to see where they did well. And when you realize and acknowledge the areas you do well in, you realize, fuck, I am doing pretty well here. At least I'm doing better than I was doing previously. And then you want to improve even more. You want to tick off more wins because you see these wins. How can I improve upon those wins? And then the negatives, the things you didn't do too well, sort of fall to the wayside and eventually just like disappear without you even trying. And this method of thinking, if you see any of the most successful athletes or any of the most successful people, yes, they acknowledge, well, some of them don't, but a lot of them acknowledge areas where they could improve, but they really focus on the areas that they did well and how to improve those again and how to build upon those areas they did well next time around. And if you do that, you can't not make progress. It's like impossible not to make progress. So next time you beat yourself up, the next time you see things you did wrong and things that you fucked up in your weight loss journey, sit back a bit and view the bigger picture. Sure, you might have done this one thing that you could have done a bit better, but holy shit, look at all these other things that you've done well and you've done consistently and you've done better than in the past. Focus on those, build upon those, and then those little negatives that will happen, it's inevitable that they will happen. Those little negatives don't pull you down, you don't fucking ruminate on them, and it doesn't cause you to give up entirely. So focus on the wins, sort of notice the negatives, but don't bloody focus on them. Learn from them, but focus on the wins and build upon the wins. That's where you'll get a long-term success.